for carry.
Well, I'm going to say I agree with Riku. I think it was draft diff. I think that the draft will be cleaner. And speaking of, we're going to send it back over to Pastry and Smacks to bring us through draft for game number 3.
Thank you very much, Kangas. Well. Smacks, I don't make the rules. I am a shoutcaster. I am bound by the unwritten rulebook of shoutcasting to say we have a series. Because we now have a third game here in our best of 3.
We do indeed have a series in ThunderTalk. Back on that red side after taking their first win of it. Starting to take away the Baron laners once more. The Camille and the Fiora already off the board. It again makes me a little sad that they're eating away at Z's own champion pool, but you gotta take these champions off the board. They're just way too powerful to give over to a player like Azar, so gotta respect it.
Respect is earned as well here, and Nunu is gonna get the respect he deserves. Banned by Team Secret there as their final one, joining Ziggs and Senna. Riven unfortunately does join the pool. That means Renekton's left open, will be the first pick here by Secret. Blue side definitely feeling like it's pretty good as far as this series goes, so Secret will be happy to be back on this side here for this third and final game. But Gragas is once again the choice here for ThunderTalk. It's what else they want that's kind of interesting here.
Major flex pick option there for the Gragas. You can send it to many different roles. Most notably, the support role I think would be the most interesting for me because we've seen Enchanter lanes for both games from both teams. Now, Senna's sort of an Enchanter lane. I feel like it's Enchanter adjacent, but if you do lock in this Gragas, then you're completely departing away from that one in the support role. We're just gonna have to find out what that is. Team Secret already doing the same thing though. The Braum does get locked in for that support. We know that that role is the option, and we've seen this champion work out pretty well already today as that tank, as that peel-heavy champion, and the Unbreakable Wall really helps out with that.
Yeah, Lucian as well going to get taken away here. Azure looking nice on that one as well. So not wanting to give that away. Instead it's Xayah here. Wonder if Rakan will join her, as is tradition in some ways, but could be plenty of other picks. Could be the Gragas you already highlighted, Smacks. 20 seconds now for ThunderTalk to figure things out.
ThunderTalk locking in 2 marks for their team once more, and it is Lulu instead of the Rakan, so still sticking with that Enchanter style. You got the extra peel available from the Lulu, much more defensive than the grand entrance style of the quickness of the Rakan. And again, they are leaving counterpick to Z to the very bitter end. Now Trebor on the Lee Sin.
It's back.
Yeah. Oof, it's back.
Yeah, I guess Chris just happy on the Graves. No, knew this was something that could happen, but Trebor looked pretty deadly on Lee in game number 1. He's going to revisit the champion here in the third. Final pick though here, Hamez has 10 seconds to line it up here for the team. It looks like they're after a mid laner. What do I not want to play against? What do I not want to get counter for? You know what, Galio? Pretty safe, pretty solid.
First pick champion for both of the previous games on either side, but still first pick, so pretty surprising that it has slid all the way down this far into the draft, but nonetheless still selected by Team Secret. Lots of frontline on this composition, and when you think of where the damage is coming from, it's nearly all entirely Chewy on the solution. And the ooh is for good reason here, Pastry Time. This is likely Z's Orianna. This is a ranged champion, which is just in and of itself not something we're used to seeing from him.
No, you know, loves his bruises. His head looked great in game number 1. Definitely has the hands for a lot of these flashy champions, but Orianna, definitely a playmaker still in her own right, although a very different one here. We'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see where these champions are going, but it does feel like Z is dedicated to mid this tournament, at least right now, and Orianna will likely be his champion.
There's really no way in my mind that this game can be about Z if ThunderTalk are going to win. They've got a lot of extra damage from Chris's Graves and from Azure's Xayah. Orianna does deal damage, but it's not nearly as much as the crit that can come through for the late game. So this is going to be a very different style than what we're used to seeing from ThunderTalk in the past terms that they've played, and even in this series, because Z did make the games about him in the first 2, whether by success or by failure. Now in game 3, that's just not the case.
Right, I mean, Lulu's got speed-ups and shields, and Orianna's got speed-ups and shields, and sometimes he hits a shockwave and wins the team fight, but mostly Z is definitely playing support here alongside the double marksman that ThunderTalk are bringing back out here, as feibai is, of course, on tank duty once again. I feel like they're trusting in their scaling, trusting in their 5v5, which is a risky proposition against the likes of Secret, but you know what? I'm here for it.
I've got a proposition for you, Pastry.
I'm ready.
with this Orianna, if Z makes this work, I feel like that actually does qualify him to be potentially the best player in the world, because if this doesn't work, we might have to change the goalpost and say that he is the best bruiser player in the world. I think this is really the biggest test that we could possibly see from him on his new shift to the mid lane role. And I, for one, am very excited about this prospect.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, even though there are similarities for the solo lanes, they are different places. They play very differently. They often have extremely different roles and champions. So Z wants to be a carry basically anywhere he goes. Very curious to see if he can do so, having to support his teammates here. In particular, Azure is going to have to live forever on this side, which he's very good at doing.
Yes.
But well, Secret always find a way to kill the carry.
Many ways for this Xayah to survive and deal all of this damage and thrive in those late game situations. This is another situation where you have a lot of late game on the side of ThunderTalk Gaming. Now, the last time that they fully committed to a late game style, Team Secret was in their comfort zone. This is the way that they've been able to play all throughout their entire competitive split, all the way up until they qualified for the Horizon Cup to get here. So if this is another one of those situations, maybe Team Secret are just going to have that comfort zone factor for them again.
Yeah, definitely curious to see kind of what happens in the early stages of the game. I feel like we've had two different, like, very high-impact jungle games, very, like, in a different way. Like, Trevor's, like, literally styling at everyone, killing them all, and Chris is like, hello, I will snowball you. And, yeah, and, you know, participation's in all the kills, if unfortunately no kills for Nunu and Willem themselves. So I think Trebor is going to have a similar impact. I do think Secret needs to get a grip early in this game, because if it's nice and chill and we get to 20 minutes and everyone's got gold, I would be terrified, even for the comeback kings themselves.
Team Secret sort of shaken by game 2. They did not really get a hold on that game for its entirety, even in that late game that we know they are so potent and so skilled at leading for themselves. They're going to have to face off against this Titan. Now, Knight pops onto Z right away.
Tatsurii is trying to send a message. Z's sending one right back.
Yeah.
Says, hey, my auto attacks are pretty good. Getting a nice aggressive ward down as well. Again, Z loves to get control of the lane early. That has been the case the entire time so far this series in mid. We'll see how feibai, though, lines up there up against the Renekton, as it is a brawl in mid lane right now. There is a summoner down on each side. Tatsuurii's eating the honey fruit. feibai's brawling Azar. It's just bleeding into the solo lanes. Everyone's getting crazy.
Yeah. This is do or die here for this best of 3. And these are some of the expected favorites of the entire group coming into this one. Whoever gets the upper hand here, on paper, should have a pretty easy time getting out of this group and getting into that playoff. And even though this series has been very close, even though you have a win each, it really does come down to that game 3 to secure your spot in that playoffs potentially.
Early visit there for both junglers, but it is Chris with the Graves able to harass Trebor a little bit and get that lane pushed out. That does give a breather for a honey fruit lunch break there out of Z, who does eat that, but isn't going back to base just yet. Bottom side is looking nice actually here. Seen Azure and S12K not have too much success, I feel like, in the 2v2 early on so far. Game 1, they were just getting perma pushed in. Game 2 was kind of a wash. But so far in these early stages, looking good there as Trebor finally misses one on camera.
Yeah, quite close. You know, if it had just a little bit more range, he would have had it. But unfortunately, not the case here for Trebor, as much as it may feel like it for his opponents when playing this Lee Sin. Gonna have to wait for the first big explosion of a Lee Sin.
Tatsurii does have flash. He's gonna need it here as he's lining it up. Ignite down! Close, but not enough. One more auto was needed.
The globals, I'm checking on the right side of my screen to see if there's any Ezreal or Senna, but no, it is going to be Tatsurii. Completely safe on this one. Maybe just a little spooked in his chair right there on the stage up there in Singapore. So we're still waiting for that big play that I mentioned before, Trebor.
Yeah, Ignite down though. Z has a barrier back up, but we'll turn our attention to this top side here. feibai.
Hold on.
Barrier flash.
No ulti. There it is.
How close are we? Chris behind him as well here. This should be all right. feibai should be fine. Azar going to be the target now as ThunderTalk looks to turn it back around, but the kick just so good, and Trebor almost gets the kill. The cask spills it on the ground as Trebor gets away.
Slight error from Trebor there. He uses his Sonic Wave before the kick, so he doesn't secure that that one does land every single time. Misses out on that crucial damage, and because of it, does miss out on that first blood. Now, it's not without complete reward. feibai does force a recall out and does leave Azar with a pretty sizable experience lead, but still waiting for that first blood to happen. And for Trebor, that usually does come with the first Lee Sin kick, so it is a shame for him that first one didn't lead to that full fruition for himself.
A rare miss, but ult's cooling down. Won't be too far away at this point. 3 minutes 30 is the current mark. You can see both objectives spawning now in about 25 seconds. We have a party here in the mid lane. Z is going to be the target. It's a 3v2 right now as Chris moves in. Tatsurii looking to be the bait, and Hamez jumps out a little early. Trebor, no ulti, Q doesn't land, and that will defuse there in mid.
Trying to find something just before these neutral objectives spawn. It does look like Team Secret are more interested in taking Dragon, an objective that is more difficult to kill than the Rift Herald. You don't have the extra eye pop damage to help along in the process, but even still, they are moving over to that side of the map. Not actually taking the Infernal quite yet, though. Even though they could have gone for that trade, they know that Chris would have had an easier time with the Rift Herald. He could have potentially gone over to that objective. And instead, Team Secret are going to start up the Rift Herald.
Yeah, feeling maybe what you said. Hey, it's easy. Let me take that. Give me that one first. We'll go back for the other one later, as that did give Azure and S12K some nice damage onto the bottom side tower, get a bit of extra gold for themselves. In fact, they're just leaving. They're like, you know what, they can have the Herald. Or maybe they can't. 3v3 on the card. Shockwave maybe is feibai. Also with the ulti. There's Galio zooming in. Now it's a 5v3. And ThunderTalk will evacuate the area as the Herald goes to Secret.
Like ThunderTalk were just forcing out a cooldown, and that cooldown was expended. That was the hero's entrance for Tatsurii. So they walk away empty-handed in a way, but they don't have to worry about that big cooldown if they want to go for the Infernal Dragon, which,
now,
if you can secure it, is a better objective to have. It is permanent. It's a lot of extra damage.
Right. Very, very good in this game, as it turns out. Always a good one to grab. Unfortunately, did take the easier thing, which was just getting a tower, which is maybe not as valuable, but Azure, the play we highlighted here in this draft, that is going to be kind of the keystone of this comp in a lot of ways here for ThunderTalk, if they are going to push themselves to the late game and take it over Secret here in 3. That's a pretty quick Infinity Edge here for the Desire, so Azure is ready for battle.
Big crits available now for Azure as they do move over to that Dragon, as we predicted right there. Team Secret, on the flip side, completely committing to the Baron lane, completely committing to taking out this turret. Doesn't look like they need the Rift Herald for it either. They can save that one for later. I really like that sort of hesitation, but in a good way. You know, it's more reservation at that point. They can use that one to take out another turret somewhere else.
And they're going to need to, right? Because the gold is actually just a bit ahead, but I would call it like kind of even. Actually, I take it back. ThunderTalk actually floating about 1,000 gold ahead, thanks to, I think, the tower being taken in the bottom side. You know, just some nice farming there from Azure in particular. The thing is, though, I feel like that kind of trade where I'm taking your structure, I'm getting this Rift Herald for this gold later on, and giving you the Infernal is accepting that at 20 minutes, for maybe the first time ever in their career, they don't think they can win the 5v5.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because they do have a lot of early game, and they know just how powerful their early game was in Game 1. It does feel like Team Secret are more committing to that style of play. You're going to need to make that work very quickly, though, because those marksmen for ThunderTalk have not been punished at all. In fact, they are a bit ahead in the bottom side. Azure with about 600 gold in his pocket over Chewy. You got to stop this eventually, Team Secret. You got to find those big Trebor plays with the Lee Sin Dragon trade.
Yeah, this Azar is just terrifying. Gets scary by the second. Here's Trebor. Looks for the kick into the waiting arms of Azar. Z with the flash shockwave. Oh. Not enough. Torch finds 2. There's first blood at 7 minutes over to the Galio.
Spoken into existence, Pastry time. They find that play onto Z just before his stasis is available. It's a really nice pass.
feibai in there, but they're not going to be able to save the tower now. feibai locked up in a 1v4. Chris behind him, but that's not enough. In fact, it's 2 more. A double kill there for the Renekton as Secret explode in the game.
And Pastry, we saw that Azure was the one that was really far ahead on ThunderTalk. He had a gigantic lead. He already had this Infinity Edge, and ThunderTalk just make the play without him. Well, this play is not their fault. Trebor is just a really good gamer, as it turns out, on this Lee Sin. He's finding this really solid play, but then as soon as this Gragas comes in and tries to stop the turret from going down and then committing his body slam as well, there's no way for feibai to get out. At that point, ThunderTalk is locked out.
Yeah, that Herald you mentioned earlier that they saved from top lane. Looking real nice there for that play in mid. They get the tower, they get 2 kills, and now all of a sudden, they've got themselves a decent little lead here. Up about 2k through 8 minutes. Still some work to do, but Team Secret finally putting themselves in the spot they're looking to be in here in this game, and they're not stopping. It's feibai once again gonna be bullied here by the rest of Secret. Although reinforcements are here, ThunderTalk now maybe gonna turn it back around. No, it's a disengaging calling there from Chewy.
feibai no cask to defend himself, but he does have his entire team in the back wing, so ends up surviving that play. As you mentioned, Team Secret definitely looking for plays, looking for avenues to break apart this game and make sure they can avoid the scaling of this marksman squad for ThunderTalk. Very similar to Game 1, albeit slightly slower paced. Setting up for this Rift Herald. It's a big fight.
Very big fight. Nice ulti there out of Braum. Stasis we go. The damage is there. Galio coming down onto the head, but Orianna gets that first kill. Z somehow still alive, but the ulti's already committed. Galio finally gonna nab that kill, and Secret are gonna make it work here. Azure bleeding low on health, but not dead as he did get the lead. A 2 for 2 at the end of the day. No, a 2 for 1 is Z, the only casualty, but there's the second they were looking for. It's feibai once again left to the wall. And just barely enough there for Chewy, as that's going to be a trade kill. Oh, it's 12k! That Q's not enough, Braum. I think he saved it.
All right, Team Secret. They do miss out on that Rift Herald. I don't know if we saw it, but Chris ended up sneaking into the pit and stealing that one away for himself. But this engage was really solid. I love the way that this Galio is being used, especially that ultimate there from Tatsurii, because he gives his entire team that magic damage shield as soon as the shockwave pops. Z otherwise would have dealt a massive amount of damage, so really nice avoidance here. And now he was sort of hanging out, waiting for somebody to walk into his clutches, and feibai at 40.
Yeah, feibai looked like it was going to get it too. He seals it, and what happened here? It's not enough. That Q to do damage.
Yeah. It's just barely not quite enough.
Ardent sense of Lulu. Not that much DPS, it turns out.
Unfortunately, no for S12K, but it might have enough DPS for this trade. They got some feathers on it, good burst.
Oh, Tatsurii, it's a beautiful play. Z, the target flushes out. Ulti out of Braum, not enough. Feibai though, tanking very low though on the other side. The Secret are going to get the play turned on its head. It's ThunderTalk that find the first frag. Now looking on tomorrow's Team Secret, back away.
Team Secret going for another big engage, but starting to feel the sweat on their brow. Pastry time. They're not finding their targets. They're not killing anybody. ThunderTalk now has the gold lead back in their hands thanks to that Rift Herald that Chris so stealthily stole away. 2 turrets in the mid lane. ThunderTalk have so much scaling, and they're really finding their stride now in Game 3.
Yeah, 2 Drakes as well. Did grab the second. Shelly managed to get the second tower after missing a charge on the first because they already had it. As we'll watch this once again, the Axe replay. What happened in this team fight?
So ThunderTalk fully committing to this Drake. I love that they do this before the team fight begins, and I love that they have all of this speed. Team Secret just don't punish the fact that they are spending a lot of their damage onto this objective, and they try to engage, but by that point, the Drake's already dead. The marksmen are going to start hitting you. You are not safe after this. Azure is very, very far ahead. Those crits hurt a lot. He has that Solari Charge Blade as well. You can't take a 5-on-5 fight anymore, Team Secret. You have to go for more picks.
Yeah, it felt like just watching that fight back that Secret were trying to run into Azure, and then Chris ran at them. And you just can't really do anything in the face of the 2 marksmen running at you, especially with Lulu enchanting up a storm. So it is looking good for ThunderTalk to complete the little mini reverse sweep. Oh goodness, what's happening here? It's Hamez in trouble. Looking for 2 maybe on the shockwave, doesn't land just yet, but it's Azar, the straggler. As Azure actually eats a lot of damage. That's a good opportunity, Tatsurii. Maybe gonna make it happen. It's S12K that falls, but Azure's still alive. Z there as well, but now it's gonna be another kill onto feibai, surely. Already got the support. Looking for the top lane, it takes a little bit. Pretty tanky on the Gragas, but still enough damage to take it. Is now Trebor looking to make it happen. The shield's there from Ori, gotta go in for it, and that is not enough. Trebor with a misstep, still has the ulti, did not kick anyone, and Azure is gonna live.
And he Oh, wait, hold on a second. Z is not quite done. Pastry time looking for more damage, but Chewy stops his recall and runs away. Team Secret felt like they found a little bit more of a team fight that they appreciated. Chris was nowhere to be found, completely isolated in that Baron lane. They do pick up some really solid kills. Still feeling overeager though, especially Trebor on that last play, trying to make that assassination work, so we do get this replay here.
Yeah, I mean, looking good here for Secret, as you said, finding the fight with Chris chilling in the top lane. What yeah, this is ambitious from Chewy, let's call it.
Yeah, he lands the Sonic Wave and then he tries to avoid the Orianna damage, flash forward and get the kick. He doesn't quite get the kickoff, so doesn't get all of that extra burst damage onto Azure and gets bursted himself. A little bit unlucky there for Trebor, his second misstep of the game, really, and it's just not feeling like that same effect. Down in gold to Chris on this marksman champion that we've been highlighting as being super, super powerful in a farming style jungle meta. Well, the Baron is quite risky if they can't bring everyone outside of the pit.
I love this play. Just run over here, force them to come to you, try and find a team fight. Chris did hit a lot of damage, so little sacrifice they didn't want to make to try and force a fight, but Secret don't bite. Just back away here, dragging up in 20 seconds, as you can see. So ThunderTalk just trying to line it up here, wanting to force a fight at an objective. You already said it, Smax. Secret do not want a 5v5, and that is all ThunderTalk want right now.
ThunderTalk can get what they want. It feels like they can just move around where these objectives are, because if you're Team Secret, you can't give away a third dragon in a row, because that just makes the Elder so powerful. So for ThunderTalk, they can stack up, they can anticipate the move of Team Secret, and by stacking up in mid lane and keeping their Graves on the jungle, they're effectively pressuring every single part of the map, forcing Team Secret to try something, knowing that they can't trade, they can't go for the Baron. They've got no way to do it.
That's such a good play. Brawl multi around the back. Tatsurii roams in. Can they get Azure? The stasis is there. Need to save Desire. Ulti's still there, ready to go, and the shields are now up. Azure though gets stunned, and that's the kill that Secret are after. But Z is soloing the rest of the squad on the other side. It's Tatsurii looking to make it happen. Z gets taunted. Nice shutdown there out of the Galio. And Secret, they're staying in this game. They kill both the carries.
Not too bad for Team Secret. You said both the carries, though. Pastry, they've got 3 on ThunderTalk. They've still got Chris, and he's the jungler to boot. He can go right back over to the Baron if need be and start this one up. But as you said, great engage for Team Secret. You can see the teamwork they've been building up in the 5v5 fight coming to fruition in the first international tournament for them.
Wondering where the Zyro was. I found it nice and early for Azure to try and dodge the Galio, and that did not work. The taunt lasted more than long enough, and Azure just CC'd forever as Secret are sending it into the Baron pit in the picture-in-picture. This is getting spicy. As Chris just ults the Baron, he's like, get off that thing, it's mine now. And nope, don't want to take it just yet. This is trying to finish the Baron. Azure now going to join the fight. The Baron is so low. And now Orianna's joining the fray. Just take the Baron! It's yours! Everyone's stunned up, but Trevor's on the backside, so it's not theirs. Instead, they'll take the 5v4 team fight, but Chris now ate too much damage. feibai, sick, nasty ulti now to Azar, but Trebor doesn't grab the Baron. It's stolen by Chris as Trebor tried to find the highest, but ThunderTalk, that may be the series, Smack.
Oh, it just might be. I respect the hell out of that attempt for Trebor to get around the pit and attempt the steal, but it just doesn't work, and now 2 members of Team Secret are dead. They've got a Baron minion wave to worry about. That turret is paper. It is gone. ThunderTalk have the scissors, and they're trying to take down the full Nexus.
Oh, Shockwave finds the front liner. Chewy trying to do what he can. Tatsurii again. Just trying to play interference, but it's not enough here. That Baron is going to do it. It's ThunderTalk. They're going to complete the sweep all the way back. A 2-1 victory, but not the one the analysts predicted, as ThunderTalk are going to start off with a win.
Not just a 2-1 victory for ThunderTalk, but a 2-0 victory for the teams heralding China against SEA on the day. Not something that I think everyone was predicting. These were 2 of the powerhouse regions coming into this tournament, but a 2-0 sweep, or I guess I should say a 4-1 overall for China. Very impressive stuff for these guys in ThunderTalk, even with the roster swaps and with the roster moves, the role swaps as well, still making it work. This team is so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Z, definitely as good as advertised.
Yeah.
A very wide array of champions showcased and looking good in all 3 games. I will say, though, the sleeper, I guess, that we couldn't have known because they weren't on the team before we joined. Azure seems like a pretty good backup here for this squad.
Fully agree right there. I'm really loving his marksman play, and we saw him on different styles as well. That Senna really stands out to me as being an exciting thing to have on a team like this, because when you have a lot of other carries, when you have literally Z on your team, you want to be able to have more support on your squad. And now that we know that Z can do this too on Orianna in mid lane, oh, this team has so many layers, and this is just huge news for them moving forward into this tournament. Great way to start this off.
All right, very important team selfie here as ThunderTalk are going to celebrate. Smiles on the faces, have to think so. That was we expected to be a pretty tense series. I get the 2-1 predictions across the board because I think it was expected to be close. Secret obviously going to be disappointed to collect a loss here, but I think still showing that when they're on, they're really on. Game 1 especially was an absolute thrashing of ThunderTalk. And it kind of like